All right, let's get into the market stats here. So we had about 3,092 sales. Now that's a big number. I've been licensed since 2012, and I've only seen a few months that cracked 3,000 sales. So that's a huge number. Even though it's 0.8% lower than last year, that pullback is mainly because the product people are looking for doesn't really exist anymore. The lower price ranges of each product type, they're pretty hard to find, and that's why there's a bit of a pullback. But that's a huge number. Like pre-COVID, one of our busier months, you might see like 2,200 sales. So to be over 3,000 sales is quite impressive. And we've also got more listings coming to the market, which I think is good. We had 4,333 new listings. That is up 18.7% over last year. So I think you're getting some people that are looking to cash out. You're getting some people that don't want to renew mortgages at the higher rates, so stuff like that. But we're still, our long-term numbers, our listing inventory is way down. It's like half of what it normally is for this time of the year. So it's definitely still a hardcore seller's market. And one thing to note, most of the inventory that's sticking around or lingering is the higher price ranges for each product type. That's kind of what's sitting around the market. Everything that's priced right is selling right away, most of the time multiple offers and stuff like that. So it's still definitely a hardcore seller's market in Calgary. The total residential price, $605,300. That's the average of detached homes, duplexes, condos, and townhouses, up 9.5% year over year. The detached price average, it's getting up there, $761,800, up 13%. Yeah, gone are the days where you could find a single-family home in Calgary in the 400s. That is pretty hard to find nowadays. Duplexes, they are quite expensive as well, $678,000. I think the reason why this number is so high is there's a lot of brand new duplexes that are coming to the market, and that's why this price is a bit inflated. But you can definitely find lower priced duplexes throughout the city. That number is up 13.2%. Townhouses up 19.3% to 462,500. That market is still very active. And same thing with condos, up 17.9% to 340,000. And the months of supply is 1.1. So that means if nobody could list a property, it would only take 1.1 months to sell the remaining inventory. That still indicates a hardcore seller's market. But again, there are more listings coming to the market, but it seems like there's still a huge number of buyers that are looking to pick up any inventory that is listed. So what does this mean in layman's terms? So I'll start off with the selling side. Now, don't expect that this market's going to last this way forever. Sure, it's great right now. You could sell very easily, maybe over list price unconditionally. It'll happen very quickly, but it's not going to last that way forever. And the reason why I say this is that when I first got licensed in 2012, things were good, even better in 2013, and the market was booming in 2014 like it is now. It's slightly different, but what happened is that people catch on, so you see all sorts of new renovation projects, new condos being built, new neighborhoods. And all of these new developments can come onto the market at the same time, and it could flood the market because builders want to take advantage of it. So there's all sorts of new neighborhoods being built all around Calgary. I just made a video, my latest video, New Construction Neighborhoods in Calgary. You can find right here by clicking the link. I was surprised at how many neighborhoods there are popping up around Calgary. And eventually all of these new homes are going to be coming onto the market, and it can saturate things. And this is exactly what happened in late 2014 into 2015-16 is we were overbuilt in Calgary. There was just too many brand new developments coming to the market. And that could help balance the market combined with maybe new listings coming on because people don't want to renew at the higher rates, stuff like that. And people are always naturally buying and selling. So, things are great right now, but just don't expect that it's going to last this way forever because I can see a situation where we become overbuilt all of a sudden. But things take a long time to play out, so it's hard to give an exact date when that's going to happen. It's like predicting the stock market, but I can see it happening at some point. And on the flip side, if you're a buyer, I've heard news lately that the rates are going to come down this week. I don't know if that's true or not. If you're a buyer trying to predict that, very tough. But if they do lower the rates, it's not going to be good for a buyer in Alberta. Maybe in Ontario, Quebec, and BC, places like that, their markets have been a bit sluggish compared to ours. That might be good for them, and that could be why the Bank of Canada does this, because there are lots of parts of this country that aren't doing as well as Alberta at the moment. But from an Alberta perspective, I think it's terrible because our market's already inflated and out of control. And if they lower the rates even more, our market's going to take off even more than what it is right now. And if you're a buyer trying to time that, you might lose out because the next thing you know, the prices might be up another 10 to 20%, and you've really lost out. So my advice, if you're a buyer, I would jump in right now because it's hard to predict that. But I think, in my opinion, I think the Bank of Canada is not that independent of the current government. And there are a lot of votes in Ontario, British Columbia, places like that, and they got really high prices. And those mortgages, when they're coming due, are going to be a shock for a lot of people. And I think the government would rather avoid that because that would be very damaging for them. So I expect that they might come down. I just don't know when. It's just hard to predict that as well. But if you're a buyer, I would probably jump in because it's too hard to predict the exact timing of that. That's just my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. And moving along, I'll just show you a little snapshot here. So here is Calgary regionally. The city center, average price $616,000, up 4.8%. Now this is deceiving again. I always mention because most condos in Calgary are in the city center, which are usually lower in price. But if you want to buy a single-family home in the city center, those are very pricey. Moving along to the west side of Calgary, average price $727,000, up 7.9% year over year. Then northwest Calgary, $664,900, up 10.7%. And then north, south, and the southeast are always around the same price range, $596,000, $594,000, and $572,000, up around 10% each of them. 11.2% for the south part of Calgary. And the more affordable parts of Calgary are the northeast and the east side. So northeast, average price $527,000, up 15.9%, huge increase. And the biggest increase of all is East Calgary, $441,700, up 20.8%. And lastly, I'll just give you a quick snapshot of right now compared to what it was like last year. So for the detached sector, the sales are slightly less, 1385 sales versus 1485. Again, I think this is due because there's not that much inventory and people can't find what they're looking for. Like I keep getting calls all the time. I want a detached home with a garage for $450,000. Well, that existed before COVID, but not anymore for the most part. New listings are up 13.43% to 2,036 in the month of May versus 1,795 last May. So that's some good news. We do need more inventory. The inventory is up slightly, 7.55% to just under 1,600 active listings. Months of supply is creeping up 1.15, which is still extremely low, to 15% over last year. And the average price, $822,000. I prefer the median price, to be honest, $730,000. That sounds about right. Up 11% year over year. Apartments, still very strong. We're up about 6% to 908 sales versus 857 for last year. The inventory is kind of the same, about 1,100 units, up 1.83% over last year. Not much supply. Median price, $327,550. And moving along to duplexes, down 7.1% sales year over year. The inventory up slightly, actually not slightly, they're up quite a bit, 16% year-over-year increase in the inventory to 272 units. Months of supply is up 25%. So you can see there are more listings coming to the market, which is good. And the median price of a duplex, $622,500. Now again, I find this a bit deceiving because there are a lot of brand new duplexes that are fairly expensive. You can find some brand new duplexes around $1 million nowadays. But there are lots of affordable ones too. So I wouldn't be surprised if you can find duplexes in the 400s and the 500s as well. And for townhouses, total sales up 8.87%. New listings up 22% to 688. The inventory is not a huge change to 424 units, up 4.43%. And the months of supply, this is the tightest sector in Calgary. The inventory is the months of supply is 0.79. down 4% over last year. This is crazy. This means that it would take less than 1 month to sell all of the townhouses in Calgary if we didn't have new listings. And the median price, $457,500. So that's just a good quick snapshot of our current market in Calgary. If you are watching this and you could use some help, obviously give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I would love to help you out, and I'll see you on the next video.